What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we got the Michigan vs Maryland preview as the number 3 ranked Wolverines go on the road in a potential trap game against Maryland. Can be going over the keys to the game, the strengths for both teams in this one, key players to look out for, and also my prediction in this one. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so we got the number 3 ranked undefeated 10-0 Wolverines going on the road to Maryland. Maryland on the season is 6-4, coming off of a 13-10 win over Nebraska. And I'm just going to say it right now, this is a potential trap game for Michigan. This Maryland team, they are a good football team. Michigan is going to have to go in there and handle their business. And if they don't take this game seriously, they could find themselves in a sticky situation. But as of right now, as I'm making this video, Jim Harbaugh, his suspension is still on for against Maryland. They do have a hearing against the Big Ten on Friday for a temporary restraining order, but as of right now, he is suspended still for the game, and if it stays that way, Sharon Moore will continue to be Michigan's interim head coach. Now, coming into this one, this would be Michigan's 1,000th win in program history, so this is a big game for Michigan. Right now, according to ESPN's matchup predictor, Michigan has a 90.9% chance to win, Maryland 9.1%, and right now the spread is Michigan by 19 points. Michigan coming off of a statement win on the road against Penn State as they beat them 24-15. Dealt with a lot of adversity in that one, especially with Jim Harbaugh not coaching that game, but they came away with a win, and now they're one win away of another undefeated matchup against Ohio State, this time in Ann Arbor in the Big House. You go ahead, look at this Maryland team. They started out the year great. They started out 5-0 this season, but then they proceeded to go on a 4-game losing streak as they lost to Ohio State 37-17. They lost to Maryland, they lost to Illinois 27-24. Lost to Northwestern 33-27, and they got beat by Penn State 51-15. But they did get back on the winning side last week against Nebraska as they won it 13-10. As we preview their offense, the first main thing is their passing offense. That is mainly what they are known for. Last game against Nebraska, they had 283 passing yards, 101 rushing yards. Against Penn State, they had negative 49 rushing yards and 283 passing yards. And earlier in the season, which was probably one of, if not their best performance this season, was against Indiana. They had 352 passing yards, 120 rushing yards. So they are a passing-oriented offense, and it's led by Talia Tagovailoa. On the season, he has 245 completions on 375 attempts with 2,769 yards, 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Tagovailoa, he is a great passer. He can also, run the ball. He's a mobile quarterback, can use his legs, so that'll be key in this one against Michigan in this dominant defense. But Maryland, they also have wide receivers. They have Deshaun Jones, who is their leading receiver with 45 receptions, 607 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They also have Ty Felton, who has made a lot of plays for them this season as well. They also have Corey Dyches, and I think, those receivers in the connection with Tagovailoa and the use of his legs, that is going to be very key in this game against Michigan. And this offense, they have a good passing offense. They also have the running back Roman Hemby, who gets a lot of the workload on the rushing side of things. Meanwhile, looking at Michigan's defense, they have been dominant. They've been able to stop pretty much every offense in their way up to this point, and they're coming off another dominant performance against Penn State, only allowing 15 points against them as they scored pretty late in the game, and they only allowed 74 passing yards and also 164 rushing yards. But this defense, they rank first in a lot of categories. One is total defense, only allowing 232.1 yards per game. They also rank first in scoring defense, only allowing an average of 7.5 points per game. They also rank first in passing yards allowed, only allowing 134.6 passing yards per game. They rank first in red zone defense. So this defense, they are dominant. One of the best, if not the best defense in college football this season. So Maryland, they're going to have their hands full. But, the key thing for them is their passing game. They're going to have to stick with that. I think a key thing for them in this one is they're going to have to take shots downfield, target Deshaun Jones, Ty Felton. They can go up and catch the ball, but it's going to be hard against this dominant Michigan defense. Michigan, they also have a very disciplined team. They lead first with fewest penalties and penalty yardage, as they've only had 30 penalties all season, only 258 penalty yards. So a very disciplined team, and they will not shoot themselves in the foot with penalties. They also hardly turn the ball over. You look at this Michigan offense last game against Penn State. They went away from the passing game. They decided, in the second half that they were just going to run the ball because, they couldn't, or they didn't have enough time for JJ to pass the ball with Penn State's pass rush. So they said, you know what, we're going to run and ground and pound the ball against the number 1 ranked rushing defense, which was last week, which was Penn State, and they ran it 227 rushing yards. Michigan never passed the ball once in the second half. They only had 60 passing yards. JJ didn't have a bad game. He went 7 of 8 for 60 yards. They just didn't use him in this one because they didn't need him. So Michigan just proved, last game against Penn State, that this offense can literally do anything. They can pass the ball. They can run the ball. They can do whatever they want. They're going to do whatever they want to do to succeed and win a game this season. Michigan's wide receivers, they kind of took the day off, but their leading receiver is Roman Wilson, has 36 receptions, 589 yards, and 10 touchdowns. They also have Cornelius Johnson, Samaj Morgan, who is a freshman who has been playing very good recently, very explosive, very athletic, and has the agility to make defenders miss. But then Michigan also has the tight end combo of AJ Barner and Colston Loveland. We saw them have breakout games against Michigan State, and when you pair all those targets on offense with a quarterback like JJ McCarthy, who can not only pass the ball but use his legs, this is a very dangerous offense, especially with that offensive line in the running game with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. Blake Corum on the season has 152 carries for 794 yards, 18 touchdowns. Oh, and by the way, JJ McCarthy, besides the Bowling Green game, has 0 interceptions on the season. He threw 3 interceptions in that one, but on the season he has 163 of 214 for 2,194 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. I don't see Michigan's offense having a problem against this Maryland defense. However, Maryland is coming off of a 5 forced turnover game against Nebraska. They forced 4 interceptions and a fumble loss. They also only allowed Nebraska to 183 rushing yards and 86 passing yards, winning this one 13-10 in a defensive battle. Now, Maryland this season ranks 45th in scoring defense. They are allowing 22.4 points per game. They also rank 38th in total defense, allowing 339.7 yards per game. A lot of teams this season has had more success passing the ball than running the ball against them, but the key thing for this Maryland defense is forcing turnovers, and that leads us to the keys to the game for both teams. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit for Maryland's offense. They got to be explosive. They got to get the ball downfield to their offensive threats, which is their wide receivers. Also going to be key to take some shots downfield. Also, Tagovailoa has to use his legs and avoid being sacked. For this Michigan defense, I think the key is getting pressure on Tagovailoa, also keeping him in check and not letting him run all over them. And they're also going to have to lock up these wide receiver threats. If they're able to do that, they will be perfectly fine. They are one of the most dominant defenses in college football this season. For Maryland's defense, they have to be able to force turnovers and also force Michigan to kick field goals in this one. I think that's going to be key. Michigan, all season, their offense has been able to do whatever they want. So for the key for them, for their offense, it's just don't make mistakes, don't turn the ball over, and, really don't get any injuries in this one either. It's very important for them to get out of this game healthy and with a win. for everybody to be healthy against the showdown against Ohio State. That also goes for their defense as well. But Michigan, they're going to have to take this game seriously. It could be a trap game for them on the road. Potentially no head coach for them. Also, it's their 1,000th potential win in program history, which will be the first college football team, or any football team actually, to ever hit the 1,000th win mark. So it should be a fun game. I do think Michigan wins this one though. I'm going to say they win it 45-14. Let me know your guys' score predictions and what you guys think will happen in this game. But other than that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.